Hi students, welcome back to the new session. Today I am going to teach you another important atomic model, that is Bohr's atomic model. What is the important postulates are involved in this Bohr's atomic model? Take a look here. Generally, electrons are always revolves around the nucleus in a specified closed circular paths. Electrons are always revolves in a specified closed circular paths. Generally, these circular paths are called orbits. These circular paths are called orbits. Generally, these orbits are also called as stationary orbits. Generally, Bohr orbits are also called as which one? Stationary orbits. Why the Bohr orbits are called stationary orbits? What is the reason? Very important point here. Whenever electron rotates in these orbits, electron neither loss of energy nor gain of energy. That means energy of the electron is constant in these orbits. That's why these orbits is also called as stationary orbits. Orbit means what it is? Closed circular path. Whenever electrons moves in this closed circular paths, these circular paths are called orbits. Circular path is called orbit. Orbit is also called as shell. It is also called as main energy level. Orbit is nothing but shell. Shell is nothing but main energy level. What is orbit? Electrons are always revolves around the nucleus in a specified closed circular paths. These closed circular paths are called orbits or shells or main energy levels. These orbits are also called as stationary orbits. Which orbits? According to Bohr's, that's why this is Bohr orbits is also called as stationary orbits. Why the Bohr orbits are called stationary orbits? Here, what is the reason? Whenever electron rotates in these orbits, electron neither loss of energy nor gain of energy. That means energy of this electron is constant in these orbits. That's why these orbits, these circular paths, are also called as stationary orbits or stationary shells or stationary main energy levels. I hope you are very clear, students. Here, another important point in these postulates of Bohr's atomic model: whenever electron absorbing energy externally, either heat energy or light energy or bypassing current. So whenever electron absorbing energy, then what will happen? Electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. Generally, which is the lower energy level, which is the higher energy level? Generally, the circular paths are called what it is? Orbits are not. So this is first orbit, first circular path. This is a second circular path. If you take another one, this is a third circular path. So orbit number increases, energy of the orbit also increases. So this is E1. Compare with E1, which is more energy? E2 is having more energy. Compare with E2, which orbit is having more energy? E3 is having more energy. That means orbit number increases, energy also increases. Generally, these orbits can be designated by number method or letter method. According to number method, n is equal to 1 means represents first orbit, n equal to 2 represents second orbit, n equal 3 taken third orbit. If you take fourth circular path, n value how much? 4. If you take fifth circular path, n value how much? 5. So these orbits, that means these circular paths, can be designated by either number method or letter method. Number method, when n equal to 1 represents first orbit, when n equal to 2 represents second orbit, when n equal to 3 taken, what will happen? That is third orbit. According to letter method, first orbit is called K shell or K orbit or K main energy level. Second orbit is called L. Third orbit is called M orbit or M shell or M main energy level. If you take fourth orbit, this n value is how much? Fourth orbit. According to number method, that n is equal to 4 represents fourth orbit. According to letter method, this circular path is called N shell. Here K, L, M, N are capital letters. Don't take small letters. So K means first orbit, L represents second orbit, M represents third orbit, 4 represents capital N represents fourth orbit. Orbit number increases, energy of the orbit also increases. So according to this one, which is having more energy? Fourth orbit is having more energy. You know very well. E1 less than, E2 less than, E3 less than, E4, because orbit number increases. N equal to 1, N equal to 2, N equal to 3, N equal to 4. Orbit number increases, energy of the orbit also increases. In this given example, take a look here. Which is having more energy? Fourth orbit is having more energy. Which is having least energy? Orbit number where the least number will be there, that is having least energy. So far away from the nucleus, what will happen? Orbit number increases. Orbit number increases, energy of the orbit also increases. Students, I hope you are clear here. Okay, whenever, in the second point here, observe that whenever electron absorbing energy, what will happen? Either heat energy or light energy or electrical energy. Electrical energy is nothing but current. Then electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. E1, E2. Which is having lower energy? E1 is having lower energy. Which is having higher energy? E2. That means whenever electron absorbing energy, then electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. That means first orbit to second orbit. Then what will happen? This process is called excitation process. This process is called what is? For suppose first orbit, the electron jumps from first orbit to second orbit. First orbit to second orbit. This process is called excitation process. When the electron will be excited? When the electron will be excited? If electron absorbing a energy, external energy, by absorbing of external energy, either heat or light or current, then electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. That process is called excitation process. That electron is called excited electrons. Here energy is required to jump the electron from lower energy level to higher energy level. This process is called excitation process. So energy is required to jump electron from lower energy level to higher energy level. That's why this is endothermic process. What is endothermic process? When the endothermic process we are using? Whenever energy is required. Without taking energy, the electron is not possible to jumps from lower energy level to higher energy. Whenever electron absorbing energy, then only electron is excited. What is excitation? Electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. That process is called excitation process. That electron is called excited electron. So this is energy is required. That's why delta E, energy difference, is always how much? Positive. That is endothermic process. Okay, now electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. So E1, E2, which is higher energy level? E2 is higher energy level. This electron is called excited electron. Generally, excited electron does not stay longer time in the higher orbits. After 10 power minus 8 seconds is going on, after 10 power minus 8 seconds is going on, electron is returned back from, electron is come back from higher energy level to lower energy level. So first of all, what will happen? Excitation process takes place. What is excitation process? Electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. It must be take what it is? Absorbing energy. But whenever electron is excited, the excited electron does not stay longer time in the higher orbits. That's why after 10 power minus 8 seconds is going on, electron is come back from higher energy level to lower energy level. That process is called de-excitation process. That process is called de-excitation process. That process is called de-excitation process. That electron is called de-excited electron. De-excited electron. When the electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, this process is called de-excitation process. This electron is called de-excited electron. Whenever electron is jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, or higher orbit to lower orbit, or higher shell to lower shell, then what will happen? This electron emitted the radiation. This electron emitted the what is radiation. it emitted the radiation. Radiation is nothing but light. Red color glow will be comes whenever electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. At that place de-excitation process takes place. That electron is called de-excitation electron. Whenever de-excitation process takes place, what will happen? Energy is emitted. Emitted is nothing but released. So whenever energy is released from the system, that is called exothermic process. That process is called exothermic process. What is exothermic process? Energy is released. Energy is released. Whenever energy is released, what will happen here? Delta E value is negative. For exothermic process, delta E value negative. For endothermic process, delta E value positive. Whenever delta E positive, we know very well that is excitation process. Whenever delta E equal negative, that is de-excitation process. In excitation process, what will happen? Electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. When it is possible, if the electron absorbing energy, then only electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level. But whenever electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level, that process is called excitation process. That electron is called excited electron. Generally, the excited electron does not stay longer time in the higher orbits. That's why it will be come back from, it will be returned higher energy level to lower energy level. That process is called de-excitation process. That electron is called de-excited electron. So whenever de-excitation process takes place, energy is emitted or energy is released. How much amount of energy is released? Photon energy is released. According to Planck's quantum theory, we know that h nu is a small energy packet, that is nothing but what is? Photon or quanta. Every light is made up of smallest particle. That particle is what is? Photon. That can be represented by h nu. So this is the data regarding to excitation process and de-excitation process. Another important point, what is? Orbit number is increases, energy of the orbit also increases. Compare with first orbit, second orbit is more energy. Compare with second orbit, third orbit is more energy. Compare with third orbit, fourth orbit is more energy. That means orbit number increases, energy of the orbits also increases. Generally, these orbits can be designated by number method or letter method. According to number method, n is equal to 1 represents first orbit, n is equal to 2 represents second orbit, n is equal to 3 represents third orbit, n is equal to 4 represents fourth orbit. As well as according to letter method, first orbit is nothing but k orbit, second orbit is nothing but l orbit, third orbit is nothing but m orbit, fourth orbit is nothing but n orbit. So these are very important postulates. And then another important point, according to Bohr's atomic model, generally the revolving electron is having what it is? Whenever electron revolves, it is having velocity, and the electron is a material particle or matter particle. That's why it is having mass. So the product of mass and velocity is nothing but what is? Momentum. We know very well. Momentum means what is? The product of mass and velocity. Whenever velocity will be there, that particle should containing what is? Momentum. As well as the distance from the nucleus to, nucleus means center of the atom. This is nucleus. The distance from the nucleus to this outermost electron, this distance how much? R. Distance is nothing but radius. So momentum, if you multiplied with radius, then you will get MVR. It represents angular momentum. MVR, what is? MVR is nothing but angular momentum. So that's why what we have to conclude here, the revolving electron should containing what is? Angular momentum. The angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of which one? H by 2 pi. Angular momentum of electron means MVR, because electron can revolve in only those orbits, that means circular paths, where angular momentum is. The revolving electron should containing what is? Angular momentum. This angular momentum should be equal to integral multiple of, integral means n integers like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Integral multiples of which one? H by 2 pi. So the revolving electron is having angular momentum. The angular momentum of electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So generally integrals means like integer. 1 represents first orbit, n value 2 represents second orbit, n value 3 taken third orbit, n value 4 taken fourth orbit, and so on. H means you know very well what is Planck's constant. What is Planck's constant? Planck's constant value is very important. According to MKS system or SA system, this value is 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. This is MKS system. This is MKS system. The Planck constant value according to MKS system, that value how much? 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second. In CGS system, Planck constant value how much? Planck constant value, if you take that in CGS system, this value is 6.625 into 10 power minus 27 erg second. 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 27 erg second. This is in CGS system. We know very well 1 joule is equals to 10 power 7 ergs. This conversion is important. 1 joule is equals to how much? 10 power 7 ergs. We know very well n means what is? Number of orbits. These values are always integer like 1, 2, 3. So the third point what he said, that one Bohr's, the revolving electron is having angular momentum. The angular momentum of the electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. In this one, which terms involved here? M means mass of the electron. M means what is? Mass of the electron. V means what is? Velocity of the electron. R means the distance from the nucleus to electron. And N means number of orbits. Orbits is also called as shells or energy levels. H means you know very well, that is Planck's constant. That value is important in MKS system as well as in CGS system. Please remember that value. And another important point. Generally, nucleus is having which charge? Positive charge. Electron is having negative charge. So, both are opposite charges. Whenever opposite charges are there, in between them, which type of attraction forces are developed? Electrostatic force of attractions are developed between them. From which one to which one? Nucleus to and outermost electron. So that's why the total electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and electron is equals to centrifugal force. This is equal to which one? Centrifugal force. Why here centrifugal force? This force is arised here due to the reason revolution of electron. What is revolution of electron? Generally, nucleus is having positive charge. Electron is having negative charge. Opposite charges are there. That's why generally what will be there? Attraction force is present in it. That attraction force is considered as a centripetal force. What is centripetal force? What is centripetal force? Centripetal force is nothing but the force of attraction towards the nucleus. Centripetal force means what is? The force of attraction towards the nucleus. So this electron always try to comes towards which side? Nucleus side. This is called centripetal force. Centripetal force is nothing but the force of attraction towards nucleus. At the same time, what will happen? Another force will be there. That is centrifugal force. It is imaginary force, hypothetical force. This force, what it works? The force which is directed away from the orbiting path. This electron is always try to far away from the orbiting path. So one is try to attraction towards nucleus. That force is centripetal force. Another force is directed away from the orbiting path. Generally these two forces, magnitudes are equal. Magnitudes are being equal. But directions are opposite with each other. How the magnitudes are equal? For suppose this electron is attracted by nucleus for suppose 50 newtons. How much? 50 newtons. 50 newtons. The electron always try to comes towards nucleus. Here for suppose I taken for your sake 50 newtons. Centripetal force is 50 newtons. Obviously centrifugal force also how much? 50 newtons, because centripetal force and centrifugal force magnitudes are being equal but directions are opposite with each other. One is attraction towards nucleus, another one is directed away from the orbiting path. That's why magnitudes are being equal but directions are opposite with each other. That's why what will happen? Balancing takes place. When the balancing takes place, what will happen? Electron continuously moves in this circular paths, or electron continuously moves in this orbits. So here said that one centripetal force is equals to centrifugal force. We know very well the force of attraction towards the nucleus. According to Coulomb's inverse square law, formula what is? Coulomb's inverse square law I had already told you, K into Q1 Q2 by R square. According to Coulomb's inverse square law, what will happen? Q1 is equals to which one? The attraction towards nucleus and outermost electron. The force of attraction towards nucleus. Nucleus charge how much? We know very well. Total nucleus charge formula plus Ze. Here electron charge how much? Second charge word is electron. Electron is a charged particle. That's why electron is E. Here now you should substitute it. Q1 is equal to how much? Total nucleus charge is plus Ze. I had already given this formula. Q2 means electron charge E. According to Coulomb's inverse law, formula is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. The product of the magnitude of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. We know very well. So substituted this value. Q1 means plus Ze. Q2 means what is E, and by R square. Within the formula what will be there? Square of the distance between them, R square.